Hello again, everyone. I hope you all had a good first week and are starting to get back into the swing of things for how this semester is going to go. Even though it's a little bit of a shorter week this week, we're still going to keep roughly the same scheduling here as we continue moving into Chapter 8, where in Section 8.3, we're going to talk about what are called the matrix operations. And essentially here, what we're looking at is matrix arithmetic. Things like adding, subtracting matrices, multiplying matrices by constants, then talking about multiplying actual matrices together and ways that we can apply these sorts of processes. And then in 8.4, we're going to extend the idea of matrix multiplication to talk about matrix inverses. So things like the identity matrix, then how we can get an inverse, as well as how we can use inverses in particular to solve systems of equations. That's kind of what we're building this whole chapter around, because getting into linear algebra in the more abstract sense takes a little bit more time, so we're focusing on the application of it that has the easiest connection to things that we've seen before. It's a pretty standard place to start with these sorts of things. We're not going to get too deep into it, but this is where we're going to end up with for now. Where for this week, like I said, even though it's a little bit shorter, we still have the normal things that we're going to be seeing a lot with our assignments here. So we've got a worksheet due on Friday, as well as assignments in MyLab due next week. But because we have our first exam next week, we're actually going to have all of MyLab due on Wednesday. So that's going to be not just 8.3 and 8.4 homework sections. We're also going to have 8.5, any extra credit stuff in there. I think I only have one section of that for this chapter, as well as the quiz in MyLab. That all is going to be due on Wednesday, and you should expect to hear from me at some point around the middle of this week with more information about what the exam is going to look like. I'm still discussing with my department the exact requirements I have to work under for exams in this class. I'll let you know what that looks like at the very least a week in advance. We should know soon. I should know soon, which means you should know soon after me. But anyway, we're getting towards that. So we've also got a pre-assessment for the third week, where that one's just going to be all about you all telling me what you need to make sure you're ready for our first exam. The pre-assessments before exams are all about you guys just telling me, what problems you want to talk about, if you have any concerns about formatting, basically anything that you need to get clarified before the deadlines close and that exam opens up. That's what this is for. We're in there next week. We're also going to have a deadline for the study guide for the exam. That's going to come up with more information about the exam. But again, it's extra credit, so I don't throw extra credit stuff up here very often. I might mention it again in the video for this stuff next week as well, just to be sure that you're aware of it because it is the first one. Anyway, that's our setup here, so let's jump on in, or I guess jump on back, since we're going to be going to the older videos here, to section 8.3, where we're going to talk about the, essentially, algebra of matrices.